Okay, welcome to Lecture 5. So far we have discussed what databases are. We have talked about tables. We have looked at playing around with those tables, adding some more information to the tables, adding a field, manipulating the table and manipulating the fields by going to the design view by right-clicking on the table. Let's see that again, just to make sure you're seeing what I'm saying as I talk. By right-clicking here and going to design view, or just clicking on view. And I stress the fact that this is very much a backstage affair. Now, imagine you had a scenario where, imagine you had a scenario where you were the administrator, and you don't want to give full access to someone else to actually mess your fields up. You just want them to put the information in. And you could allow them access to just put the information in like we did in with your tables, right? Just to show you what I mean. So for example, when we wanted to put information in, we just went to our table, didn't we? We clicked here and we clicked new, right? For example, and we just put in our information and we just went for it. But we don't want that. We don't want to give someone access to this side of the table. So how do we allow that? How do we enable for someone, for example, a sales administrator to do that? Yes, I'll say that again. We don't want someone to be able to see our back office. We just want them to still put in data. We want that data to still feed into the tables, but we don't want them to go through the tables. And for this, we use what's referred to as forms. Yes, forms. So what are forms? Forms are what they are. We use forms for entering, modifying, and viewing records. So typically, I would just argue, really, at this level, it's really for entering information. So, and you'll fill forms everywhere, and so typically you will have boxes, and you go in and you fill in that information. So how do we do this? For this, we go to what's referred to as create. So this is the first thing we start creating in databases. So here we are, and we always, we have this next icon here called create. And there's actually three things here where we've talked about tables today so far. If you had been creating a table from scratch, you would have gone to create table, but we're not. We imported our table in, right? Query we will come back to, but I want to talk about forms next because it allows me, the fact that we've just finished talking about this table as a backstage, allows me to now talk about forms from the front end. And if you like, forms allow us to add in, okay, yes, let's go. Yes, we save that. We're happy. Yes, forms. So this is a form, so let's just go home again and create. And what you're seeing here is a form, and it looks like a form. Yes, this is a form. So what you do is you go create and you create form. Yeah. Now, I'm showing you two things. We're going to do forms in two different ways, but I want to show you so you understand this link between the front end and the back end. Now, the front end, the person at the front end, the sales clerk, for example, can just, can add in information. Right now, what you see here is you see all the information in the table in a form view. Yeah, so you can see that if we click on, these are just the names of all the people we had on that table in form view. So they're really the same thing, but just a different way of putting information in. So for example, if I go here now to my form view, yes, you can see that I'm able to put in information into the form. Yes, so here I am in a form, and I'm going to create, another client, if you like. Yes, so the title, let's give him a title, Mrs. Surname, Jackie. Yes. First name, John. Initial, Q. Address, 23 Barnsley Road. Town, Barnsley. County. I don't know. I don't actually know where Barnsley is. I don't know. I don't know. I hope no one feels insulted. I'm just going to say Yorkshire. Postcode YK12 2WQ. Description. Let's give him a bouquet as well. And call it artificial flowers. Price £21. Receipt required. And a phone reminder. And I'm going to click save. Right? And I'm going to refresh. Right. So if I go back to this table, I mean, look at that. It's refreshed it already. I actually thought I would even need to come back and actually, do that myself by refreshing this. But it's done all of it. It's refreshed everything. So you can see that information from my form. If I go all the way here, Miss Jackie, Mrs. John Jackie. Well, I guess I can have a lady called John. I guess. We'll just work with that. If I go back here, this is my table. You can see that information has come into the table. So the point of this, the point of this lecture is to show you the connection between the front end, which is the form, and this back end, which is the table. I could have written this in if I had control of the table, which is the back end, but if I didn't, I would just have, put it here through the front via this order form, right? And all I did was, if you just go back to rewind the tape, all I did was I went back to create and I went to form and I put the information in. There is a form wizard that you can do this with. There is a form wizard, right? And I'll do that in the next lecture. Okay, great stuff. See you in the next lecture.